springtime, and the iconic pre-war Brooklyn circuit makes the perfect venue to launch round 2 of the 2017 Hero Cup. 82 classic machines were primed and ready to set off on the 7th running of the London to Lisbon reliability trial. Journeying through the picturesque scenery of 4 countries, this Grand Continental Rally promised 9 days and over 2,000 miles of spectacular adventure. With a short blast through England, crews would then take the overnight ferry to Saint-Malo on the Brittany coast. The route would cut through the heart of France and into Spain via the Pyrenees, roughly following the medieval Pilgrim's Trail, the Camino de Santiago, to finish in Cascais near Lisbon in Portugal.
Welcome, Portugal.
A truly international group of drivers and navigators had signed up to take part in the rally. Entrants hailed from nearly every European country, and many more came from even further away, like New Zealand, Australia, Hong Kong, Brazil and America.
Great to see a good field of pre-war cars from every era.
Yeah, 80 cars.
Yeah.
82 I think actually, and a lot of newcomers as well, which is great. A lot of people coming from all over the world, 14 nationalities I believe.
This is our second London-Lisbon. It's probably one of the best rallies, I have to say, that I think we've ever done. 9 days without a break at all. Normally in most of the rallies you'd go kind of 5 days without a break. So this is going to be, it's full on every day, up early, luggage off, etc, etc.
There's a lot of miles to cover, 2,000 odd miles, so it's going to be a attrition, cars being reliable, but also I think a mental challenge of just getting through and not making mistakes.
I think the intensity and the fact that it's completely relentless, full on all the way, it is going to be a test of endurance, but it's going to be great fun.
Very excited, a bit apprehensive, but I think it'll be great. Done 3 long distance ones before, so but the last one was 20 years ago, so it's a bit of a challenge, but I think it'll be great.
I've always wanted to do a nice long European road trip. My friend and I got together and decided this would be a great way to enjoy the car. It's a car I've always wanted to own. I got it from Clayton Classics up in Coventry, who do, I think, are the best restorations going, and it's been superb.
The scrutineering for this event is basically checking the cars are safe to use, and the cars are to the specification that the drivers and owners say they are.
Just finished scrutineering, go to move off, funny noise at the back, turn the car around, and we slide about 30 yards, just avoiding the gates, and we've broken a leaf spring. Yeah, she always seems to let me down on something, but it's better to let me down now when there's a chance of getting it sorted.
Well, before we even get on the rally, we've got a squeaking clutch and we've got a sticking starter motor, so as soon as we've done scrutineering, we're going to be fixing that, and then we're going to see if we can get to Lisbon, really.
What a great collection of cars. Why are we here? Well, as the charity partner for Hero, we're really looking forward to this event, and as the rally ends up in Portugal, we will finish about 15 minutes away from one of our SOS villages.
Zenith has a very long association with motoring and specifically with classic cars. It's a fantastic opportunity for us to be associated with Hero events, specifically London to Lisbon, going past 4 countries. It's a fantastic opportunity for us to be the official timekeepers for all these beautiful classic cars.
From a sponsor's perspective, it gets a good moving exposure through the whole of Europe, associating a high-quality watch with high-quality cars, high-quality organization, and high-quality actually participants. You get good competition, beautiful roads, you see places that you're not going to go to, and hopefully people will, in their free time, then spend a bit more time in some of the venues that we've chosen.
Reunited friends Bronwyn Burrell and Tina Kerridge-Reynolds spoke to a local television crew about recreating a portion of their 1970 World Cup Rally glory days.
We're taking Puff all the way back to Lisbon, where she went 47 years, and 2 days ago she started on this trip with the London to Mexico World Cup Rally. So we're going again, because we can. Well, I've got Tina with me who came on that first trip. Unfortunately, Tish, who owned the car then, died 8 years ago, I think. So she's no longer with us. And the whole point of it is we want to get the car to Lisbon again. She knows the way, so we've just got to get her there.
Classed as an intermediate rally, Heroes London to Lisbon is mainly a tarmac and daytime driving event. As such, many of the crews would be made up of husband and wife teams, with all the dangers that would entail.
We're having a holiday.
Yeah, it's a holiday.
Spending all that time with me.
Yeah, confined space, but I'm sure I'll tolerate it.
Yes, shouting at the driver and a pencil to stab the driver, yeah.
To enjoy a truly continental road trip, some teams decided to discard the husbands altogether.
First girls' rally. Our husbands are allegedly too busy to do it themselves, but we don't believe them.
We're doing it for the team. Represent our females of the world.
Starting the rally in Brooklands, the teams would undertake 2 tests and 4 regularities on their way to Portsmouth to catch the overnight ferry to France.
10 minutes to go before we're off on the first test. Feeling slightly nervous, but it'll be what it'll be. Looking forward to it.
We are very honoured and very happy, certainly, that the organisers has chosen Portugal as the final destination of this rally, of this course. And I'm so very glad to see there are some of my compatriots taking part in this adventure. And I welcome that, and I wish all of them, of course, the best of luck.
The 1925 Bentley of Bill Kleinhardt and Jackie Norman proudly led the field away at the start of what would be an epic journey. Within yards of the start, it was straight into the first test up the Brooklands hill climb, originally built in 1909 to test vehicles of the time. Daniel Gressley nearly threw it all away within seconds of the start before even getting out of Brooklands. The teams were also treated to a brief trip on the iconic Brooklands banking. As crews passed by another transportation classic, they headed for the open road. After easing the competitors gently into the rally, the first pit stop of the day was at the William Metcalf's Vintage Bentley Emporium, a fitting venue for tea, cakes and conversation. Leaving Metcalf's, the competition was in full swing, with the top 20 contenders all keeping within seconds of each other. The next regularity saw drivers passing the odd group of enthusiastic roadside spectators as they wound their way through leafy lanes and golden fields. Lunch would be a stopover at Wilton House, which has been the country seat of the Earls of Pembroke for over 400 years.
Fabulous, wonderful weather, and we're having a wonderful time, having a great laugh, 2 girls together.
We made a cock up for the first regularity, but that's how it goes. Wonderful scenery, beautiful sunshine, and the car's going like a bomb.
With a relaxed lunch over, the competition was back on, starting with a short test through the car park of Wilton House. The E-Type Jaguar of Marcus Anderson and Matthew Lim Rose performed well, placing just 3 seconds behind the top pairing of Paul Crosby and Martin Taylor in their 911. The loose surface made for some exuberant driving. Taking the wheel of the down-on power Maxi Serin White posted a time that placed the team firmly in the midfield.
Well, and there I scared myself, do you know that?
Pushing on from the test, 2 regularities through the New Forest would lead competitors to the Chairmakers pub for what would be their final pit stop of the English leg. One unlucky driver already had a tale of woe to tell.
Well, we've done all right as novices. A slightly unfortunate incident with a tree. It was on the cones, the manoeuvrability test, and I just didn't take account of the gravel at all. And 90 brake horsepower and a little midget and a tree, not a good combination.
We've had a lot of fun,
We're still laughing. We're not bruised or anything.
We haven't gone wrong too far. Adding the timing in makes it a little bit more interesting, but yeah, we've had a great time.
Lots of country lanes, really testing the cars, braking, steering, performance, and just really being scientific in all the calculations, and as a result it's been great fun.
Some of the turns back on yourself, I've got to really plan it, but luckily my navigator's got that all organised, so I know where I'm going.
We're looking for some speed tests in a straight line.
The Chairmakers pub will be the last place teams will get a proper English brew before giving it up for the delights of continental beverages over the next 8 days. The Bentley boys and girls decided there was strength in numbers and travelled together in style. Leaving Portsmouth on the cross-channel ferry, it was time to say goodbye to the UK. For the overnight crossing, the teams were treated to a magnificent dinner and an evening of entertainment before getting a good night's sleep. All in preparation for an early morning's arrival in the port of St Malo. Just a short drive from the ferry dock at St Malo, the crews gathered for the start of day 2 in Dinan, one of the most attractive and best preserved towns in all of Brittany.
We're in Dinan, in a car park in Dinan. The sun is shining and we're driving down through France to Poitiers, I think.
And we're off to do 2 regularities, one after the other, and then we've got a time control. Then we've got another regularity, and then we've got lunch.
Well, we're having problems with the idling speed. It'll idle at 1100 and then all of a sudden it'll just drop and then die if you don't keep flipping it. If you're trying to brake and set off up a hill with no handbrake and it won't idle, it's all rather difficult.
We think the rally needed to have ended last night for us because we're in 3rd place, but unfortunately it's got another 8 days to go, so I'm not expecting us to be in this position for very much longer.
See, the barrier is off the car park because it's broke. When you're ready, off we go. Have a good day.
Leaving Dinan behind the day's drive, but try and cover as much ground as possible through Brittany on our way to the spectacular roads of the south. Even after just 2 regularities, the competition was hotting up with several teams jostling for top spot on the leaderboard.
Thank you, have a good day.
$7.44.
603.
603.
446.
446. That's it. I've got it.
You've got regularity 1.
Yep. Thank you.
It's been a fairly steady cruise down here so far. Little bits of competition along the way, which have been good. Yeah, let's see. I mean, another 7 days to go. Long way.
After another regularity, lunch was at the historic Chateau de Cochou on the old border between Brittany and the Anjou region.
Well, we're doing all right. Car hasn't broken down yet, which is the main thing.
My navigator's not got us lost yet, and we're even now trying to see if we can do one or two of the times, but that's a little bit more challenging. So all good so far.
If the driver didn't question the navigator, we did a little better today. Jackie told me to turn left, but I thought I knew better and went straight on and got it all wrong. So we lost 17 seconds on that. But we're getting pretty good. We're getting 1s and 0s and 2s now, so very happy.
It's not running particularly well, so I'm just going through some of the obvious things like the coil and plugs, and just seeing if I can find something that would make it misfire.
There are a few little tricks that have been jumping out, a few triangles we went around yesterday, and it caught a few people out.
There's your joker.
So we have a joker system involved, which basically your worst lateness gets scrubbed to only 5 seconds. So if you get stuck behind a horse or something like that, then you don't have to try and push past. You take the penalty, and then that only gets dropped to 5 seconds instead of a minute.
Weather's been great, the organisation's fantastic, we've been some fantastic locations, just unbelievable, and the countryside's just wonderful. So we're just having an absolute ball at the minute, really thoroughly enjoying it.
The afternoon saw the teams leaving the sublime and tranquil surroundings of the Chateau de Cochou for the next time test of the day. The award-winning go-kart track Le Circuit Val d'Argenton is widely considered the best kart track in Europe. Getting off to a good start, Amanda Johnson and Karen Turner put the Aston Martin DB2 through its paces, but still keeping on the straight and narrow. While the 911s of Stephen and Thomas Owens and Paul Wignall and Annabelle Jones seem to be finding alternative ways around the track, doing what some would say was excessive curb hopping. The charming French countryside just north of Poitiers would see the crews negotiate the final regularity of the day before their overnight stop. Jane Wignall and Kevin Savage and the Sunbeam Tiger put in a strong performance by placing 4th on the regularity.
We're at the end of day 2 now, and it's been go, go, go ever since down across France. The weather is absolutely fantastic, but we've tested all of the crews today.
Yeah, we've had a good day. No major dramas apart from the last reg. Decided to stumble past the junction and reverse up and go the right way. It's certainly been an entertaining day. I didn't actually know what to expect from France, but it's certainly been intricate and busy.
As the rally participants retreated to the bar, it seemed that there was no shortage of road tales to share with new friends. Day 3 dawns, and after some preparatory strategy, the team seemed ready to take on the next challenge. The rally route now headed south from Poitiers and through the Vienne and Dordogne regions to Montauban, the second oldest Bastide or fortified town in southern France.
2, 1, go!
The day's action would consist of 4 regularities with a lunch stop in between, which promised to be in one of the most memorable locations of the entire rally. Lunch would be at the 4-star hotel and restaurant La Moulin de la Baie. The elegance of the shaded dining terrace was matched by the menu's exceptional Michelin star status. Sometimes affectionately referred to as the Venice or Périgord, the old quarter of Brantham is a very popular day trip destination. Some regularities can be fairly straightforward to navigate, but only if drivers don't disagree on the correct route to take. The main thing is that the crews get to where they're supposed to be going while enjoying the scenery along the way.
Found ourselves in a little bit of trouble at one point, but when it went well, it went really well. But all told, lovely day, great driving, great scenery, and good scoff.
The roads have been very interesting, and we haven't done too badly by our standards, so we're feeling quite pleased with the world at the moment. Thank you very much.
I just think it's been an absolutely brilliant day. First class, well organised, stunning venue for our lunch.
The lunch stop today is the best lunch stop I think I've ever experienced on a rally. And I remember the house specialité Périgord, which was a kind of duck shepherd's pie, for as long as I go rally. So if there's a chance to go back there, count me in.
We've done okay today. No, we're quite pleased. Whether we got the middle regularity with the speedy things quite correct, I'm not sure, but we had a bit of fun doing it, and we didn't shout at each other again, which was the result.
Even though some results were better than others, spirits were still very high.
We've had a good day today actually. I think on all 7 regularities we've dropped 33 seconds. So that's probably been our best day so far. It's been a long time in the car. We've had about 10.5 hours in the car, 433 kilometres.
Day 4, and it's off to an early start.
The rally's been good for us so far. We've had 1 or 2 issues. We had a little bit of a problem yesterday with a bit of route finding. I decided to take the wrong road, but eventually we found our way out.
It's been terrific. Wonderful roads, real challenges. I'm very, very happy with it.
We're second actually by about 3 seconds, so we've still got 5 days of competition ahead of us. Got the Pyrenees to cross today, so I think it's all to play for.
Surprisingly, the first challenge of the day had nothing to do with driving.
When we all arrived here, there were no French. We're in this lovely chateau, so the clerk of the course has broken into the chateau, set off the alarm, and we probably have all the gendarmes coming now in about 5 minutes. But no coffee, unfortunately.
With the Pyrenees beckoning, we start the long climb. Half the magic wagons seem to have no trouble remembering the route. The afternoon's regularities would take us up the Col de Peyresort, the highest point of the rally, at just over 1,300 metres. Continuing a tradition made famous by the Tour de France, graffiti artists were certainly showing an admiration for our competitors. Climbing from one hairpin to another, the scenery just got better and better, and sometimes more than a little surreal. First opened in 1976, the 3-kilometre tunnel de Ragnouet-Bielsa marks the border between France and Spain. Once through, teams were treated to another regularity with even more spectacular scenery. With views as magnificent as these, it was easy to feel like you were on top of the world. Or maybe, if you were a marshal, that might all be down to altitude sickness. Goats could also be an issue in these parts, so perhaps it's best to just sit tight.
Well, we've had a Horlicks of a day. We've been boiling merrily. And so we had to rig something up to try and get up the hills. So we've taken half the bonnet off, and it worked perfectly. But it's been very stressful. And then there were goats, and then we had to race along roads, which is what rallying is about. So we have had a lovely day, but it's been very challenging.
We've had a problem with the car, so we had to miss the regularity, but we're still in the rally, so we're still smiling. But can I just say, tomorrow's another day. No, those mechanics are amazing. We love them. Yeah. We couldn't have done it without them. They've mended us about 4 times haven't they, today.
They're amazing.
So we're very happy.
Part of any long-distance road trip is enjoying the social side of the journey, so it was no surprise that the bar in the Barcella Monasterio de Baltanya was standing room only. The former Carmen monastery dates from the 17th century and is now a 140-room hotel and luxury spa.
Now, I've never done a rally in my life before, and we had a terrible first day. We got totally lost, and we didn't have the equipment. We didn't have a trip meter. We were going to give up. We were going to go home. But a very kind gentleman here loaned us a trip meter. We've had a fantastic time ever since. Absolutely fantastic.
At the start of day 5, Daniel Gresley and Elise White had taken control of the leaderboard. Crosby and Taylor were in second, with Jane Wicknell and Kevin Savage in third. The rest of the top 10 were also separated by the smallest of margins. The trip across northern Spain would take teams west from Baltana to Santo Domingo de la Calzada. The first regularity took in the coal of Puerto de Cerrablo. The competition was nip and tuck, with no one crew taking a commanding lead. Two additional regularities would take us further into the Aragon region and onward to the lunch stop. Now at the halfway point, how were teams finding the rally?
Today's been good, although we did have a bit of a rough road a few minutes ago, which when you sat with a driver who whinges for 2 miles about potholes, it's a bit trying, but all's good, thank you.
We've had a good morning. It's been a lot better today, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I could do with a new navigator, and then I'm sure that would improve it a bit, you know.
There you go.
How's it going?
A bit chilly.
It is. A lot cooler than we expected.
hence the shorts. We're feeling a bit regretful.
No.
The disaster, of course, was on start of leg 3 when we missed the checkout from the hotel in the morning, so we got a 10.5-minute penalty. My phone was still on UK time, so ran downstairs with no shoes on, checked out, but 10.5 minutes penalty, so unfortunately the rally's over for us, really.
Should have bought a Zenith watch, hey Matthew? The day's on-track test would be another thrash around a go-kart circuit. The Dutch crew of Van 't Hoff and Vailsburg in the Porsche 914 put in a time of 1 minute 44 seconds, which placed them in the top half of the timesheets. While Penido and William Matique were putting in a Brazilian spin on their test efforts, but still obviously having masses of fun. And after 5 days, the beautiful Jaguar XK120 of Portuguese crew Enis and Pombo was still going strong. As crews headed for the overnight stop, the rain began to fall, and Guy Woodcock deployed some very interesting wet weather gear.
I'm fed up of getting wet. I'm cold, but I'm not going to get wet. So I thought the appropriate headwear was provided by Mr. Rutherford, the clerk of the course, just to make me look stupid, I think.
It's the end of day 5 and Bron was navigating it. She was calling the test and I was driving. And she got a little bit confused and had the diagram the wrong way round. So we almost went wrong, but not quite.
As the day comes to an end, talk around the dinner table and the usual huddle around the results board would send the crews to bed, either satisfied with the day's efforts or ruining that missed junction. Regardless, tomorrow's trek from Santo Domingo to Leon would no doubt be in everyone's dreams.
At the moment, I'm lying joint first with Paul Crosby and Martin Taylor. A little bit of pressure, but after 5 days, it's amazing that we're on the same second. It's ridiculous. So we've got 4 days to go. Anything can happen.
Equal first, which is quite some achievement. I don't know if my blood pressure can stand this by the end of the week. We've got 4 more days of this.
On your way, Martin.
See you later, guys.
Yeah.
Leaving Santo Domingo behind for the wide open plains and quaint villages of the Rioja region, 2 regularities would take us to the location for the test of the day. Weather in northern Spain in April can be unpredictable. Even so, it was still a surprise to see the clouds becoming darker and heavier the further west we drove. By now, the drivers had honed their skills on kart circuits across 2 countries. But as the air temperature continued to drop, the weather seemed to be on the turn, and getting any temperature into the tyres for our seasoned race drivers would be a struggle. By the end of the test, it was time for a break, but the weather had different ideas.
Not really what you expect for Spain, though, isn't it? I was told Jackie we were going on a lovely holiday, driving through some lovely countryside, fantastic weather. We'll come back with a tan. Don't forget your swimming trunks. Well,
some traditional Spanish cooking would be just the ticket. While snow continued to fall, it was all but gone by the time the crews were ready to set off again into the brightening afternoon. Rounding a bend, Sue and Trina seemed to be in trouble, with one of the Bentley's wheels appearing to be quite out of shape. A few kilometres later, and the extent of their fears became clearer.
Have we just had a blowout?
After accidentally hitting a culvert, there was also some serious damage done to the undercarriage. Would this be the end of their rally?
I bent the shocker. Oh, lovely. Look at this.
Still travelling west and barring a few unexpected and somewhat stubborn obstacles, the teams made their way to the overnight stop at Leon.
We've had sleet, we've had snow, we've had sun, we've had rain. We've had the full panoply of Spanish delights in one day, so we've really got nothing to complain about, and the world is a rosy place this evening.
Built in the 16th century, the convent of San Marcos is now a luxury hotel, but along with its restaurant and museum, the building also houses a consecrated church and is considered one of the most important monuments of the Spanish Renaissance.
It's full on, is these rallies, aren't there? No respite. You're always on the go. We've used our joker now, I think. We were hiding on that one. We missed that one. We've got the time, but we missed it. So I think our joker's in play now.
Day 7 takes us from Leon across the Spanish-Portuguese border and on to Vidago. Overnight, the leader had changed once again, with David and Joanna Roberts now on top spot ahead of Crosby and Taylor. But would it last? Karting Cabañas Raras would play host to the day's test. With their competition looking on and the cars running in alphabetical order of make, we were treated to the sight of an Aston Martin DB2, 2 DB5s and a DB6, all on the track at the same time. As the rally presses on towards the Portuguese border, the events of the last 6 days are taking their toll and the casualties start to mount up.
I know Paul Wignall had a problem with his clutch this morning in the 911 and Lord Laidlaw in the RS. It's a real shame when you prepare yourself for something like this and you almost get through. 6 days is a lot of punishing mileage, and it just takes its toll on these old cars, unfortunately.
You have no idea what these cars actually can do when they're driven properly and put through their paces, and I think it's absolutely fabulous. Some of the older cars, how they get through it and get round and keep up the times. Absolutely brilliant.
.33.44, thank you.
Geography isn't the only possible barrier for classic cars, as the team's experiences in now 3 countries have proven.
We came to the crest of a hill, and just as we got there, some goat herder was herding about 200 goats across the road and caught 2 of the cars. And on the first car, they actually jumped onto the bonnet and off.
2 regularities and 3 link sections continued on into the afternoon, taking us into Portugal and the palatial overnight hold of the Vidago Palace.
This is a spectacular stop, and looking forward to the last couple of days. I hope the worst is behind us. It's only going to get better from here. It's always an endurance for the cars and for the navigator's brain.
Despite the glamorous surroundings, after 7 straight days, some of the crews were starting to feel a little weary. The last 2 days of the rally would be a whirlwind to the finish, but first it was time to say adios to the opulent surroundings of the Bidego Palace and travel south through the vineyards of the Douro Valley to Luso. The following day would see the crews press onwards to Cascais.
Music to my ears.
Any long-distance rally depends heavily on the mechanics that follow the cars along the route in case of breakdowns. Thanks to the automotive wizardry of the mechanics, the Bentley of Sue Shoesmith and Trina Harley was still running, albeit at a slightly gentler pace. Both the morning coffee stop location at the Casa de Mateos and lunch at the Quinta de Pacheco Estates made for very elegant and sophisticated watering holes. Vineyards, sunshine, blue skies and winding roads. Portugal at its springtime best. The final action of day 8 would be a high-speed thrash on the closed roads of the famous Caramulo hill climb, where a large crowd of excited locals had turned up to admire the exotic machinery. The last evening's meal on the road would be dinner set amongst the splendid exhibits of the Museo do Caramulo, which boasts a collection of some of the rarest automobiles in Europe. The 9th and final day started with a very wet kart track test before the final push to the finish at Cascais. By the time the London-Lisbon roadshow rolled into the finish, the sun had reappeared. As crews arrived one by one, Dr. Carlos Carreras, the mayor of Cascais, welcomed them to the city. As promised, some of the children from the nearby SOS village were on hand to join in the party atmosphere.
A fantastic rally. We're just so delighted to have been able to nurse the car to get here, and that was our aim, was to get here and the car in one piece, and we've achieved that, so we're delighted.
Oh my word, that was hard work. Today was tricky, but it's been brilliant. Brilliant rally, brilliant people.
Bloody excellent navigator.
I wish.
What an adventure. We knew it was going to be, but we had no idea quite what we had let ourselves in for.
But we made it.
And we feel incredibly proud.
Cheers.
And well done
Thank
to all
you.
the other competitors and all the organisers, etc. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
We made We
girl
did.
made it. Unbelievable, really. Even up those steep hills, we made it.
We visited every checkpoint. We've been
Didn't miss a
everywhere.
thing. We did, and we didn't get lost, but we got there.
Puff did it again. These girls did it again. Cheers, ladies.
Cheers, darling.
Amazing rally, really good fun. And here's the next one.
9-day event. It's the longest event I've ever done. It's a mega feeling to do something like that and achieve the first. And it was very competitive. We were changing positions every day, 3-4 seconds, that was all that was in it.
The final overall positions were Paul Crosby and Martin Taylor in first, followed by Daniel Gressley and Elise White in second, and David and Joanna Roberts in third. As the London to Lisbon Rally 2017 comes to a close, His Royal Highness Don Duarte Pio Duque de Braganza was on hand to present the trophies.
And the winners of this year's London to Lisbon Rally, Paul Crosby and Martin Finchy Taylor.
What a brilliant event. So I thank you all for taking part, because it was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Is there no stopping Crosby? The action continues with the summer trial in just 3 weeks' time. Join us next time for more excitement from the Hero Cup.